Hello, I am Janek, and this is Marisa Toolbox, a series of videos where I go in depth on Marisa's tools and how to use them. And today's episode is going to be about standing heavy punch, both charged and uncharged version, and also about the heavy punch target combo. Okay, we're going to start a little bit backwards here. First, we're going to talk about what happens on hit, and then I'm going to go into detail on how to actually land this move. So, with regular heavy punch uncharged version, on regular hit you don't get much. You can try to hit confirm it into the target combo, but the reward is not so great, and the hit confirm window is pretty tight. So, I wouldn't really bother putting it on your metal stack. It's fine to just be +3 in the face, honestly. Whereas if you hit with a charged version of standing heavy punch, you're +7. So you can go into medium punch target combo, from which you can combo into... Well, this isn't going to be a combo video, so there are better videos for this. You can go to Zach Henke's channel. But there are a lot of options from medium punch target combo, and I expect you probably know most of them. Okay, and when it comes to counter hits, with regular standing heavy punch you're +5, so you can combo into crouching light kick or crouching light punch. Usually you would go into something like this. You can also cancel into super from it. If you want to be super optimal, you would do it like this. No, not like that. You wouldn't drop it. Like that. Because going into first hit of light punch Dima would get you a lot of scaling. But usually if you want to do something like this, your enemy is close enough to death that it doesn't matter, but just so you know. And when it comes to charged heavy punch, you can go into back heavy. This is hit confirmable. This is a little bit difficult to hit confirm at first if you're trying to both hit regular hit confirm and counter hit confirm. But I think the reward here is actually worth it, so I would put time into practicing this to be ready to go into back heavy punch, so that you don't have to spend more drive bar for going into OD Dima. And on punish counter, with regular heavy punch, you are +7, so you can go into medium punch target combo. And on charged heavy punch, as you can see, Ryu goes into this weird animation, and you're +15, so you can go into anything you want. Usually it will be something like this. And that would be it for what happens on hit. Okay, now let's get into how the situation looks on block. With standing heavy punch you're -3, so you don't want this move to be blocked if you're doing it without drive rush usually. Because you just have to take the mix. Of course, you have defensive options like this. One thing I'm going to point out, if your opponent has not yet proven to you that they are reacting to heavy punch target combo, and they're taking their turn with a slow button, by slow I mean slower than 5 frames, you can try to test them by going into heavy punch target combo on block, and see if you manage to get a counter hit out of them. This is a risky move, but this, even if it doesn't work the first time you try it, that probably means the next time your opponent will try to take the turn with a button that's 5 frames or slow or faster, which means the pressure will be weaker next time, so it isn't the worst thing to try. That being said, it is reactable, and if your opponent proves to you that they are reacting, believe them. However, if you're doing the heavy punch out of drive rush, you're +1. Which means you don't get a true strike throw mix from this, but at least you get some pressure. So, what are the best options out of this situation? The only good option is doing crouching light punch and hit confirming into light punch Dima if they're mashing, or if they get hit for any other reason. But if you... this is the only real thing you have here. So you're going to have to make your opponent respect you, respect the +1, before you go into the fake stuff. But you're going to have to go into the fake stuff if you want to get any pressure from this situation. A slightly... not real, but not really that risky option is you can go for crouching light kick first before going into jab, which will stop them also from walking back, which is important because if you want a mix-up, you have to introduce throw. Sometimes you will have to macro walk forward, depending on the range at which they block the heavy punch. But if you want to establish strike throw here, you have to stop them walking back. Because if they walk back, your throw might whiff. And that's why we do the crouching light kick follow up. Of course, if you're going for throw, you also can go for shimmy, which in this situation can just be walking back after this move. And you can also press a slower button to catch delay tech, like for example, medium punch. That being said, the more active your opponent is, the more important it is to show this. And you only are allowed to go into other options if you force your opponent to show you respect in this situation. One more option that you have, if you don't like being +1 close, you can choose to be +2 far away from them instead. Which also isn't that great, but it has the benefit of erasing a whole bar of drive from them. You will get half a bar back from hitting the second hit of the target combo. And we're going to talk about heavy punch target combo on block next. And the deal with standing heavy punch target combo is pretty simple. You're +2 at a pretty far range. So the first option you have is to try to frame trap. And the best buttons you have for this are either standing medium punch, crouching medium punch, and if you're pretty close, you can go for back heavy. If your opponent will press any buttons here, they are likely to get counter hit. If you are the one getting counter hit, that means they are pressing buttons that... most of the time, that means they are pressing buttons that will not reach you unless you extend your headbox by pressing. So, if this is happening to you, you might want to not press anything and with punish their attempt at a barre. I wouldn't recommend micro walk throw because, well, this isn't a micro walk, this is a macro walk. The distance is pretty far. So your opponent needs to be pretty much asleep at the wheel for them to get caught by that. Although going for it once in a set might not get punished if you are pretty sneaky with it. So yeah, either frame trap, do nothing, don't macro walk throw too much. Oh, and there is one more option I almost forgot. You are +2 here, so we expect our opponent to respect the plus frames, perhaps. And that means we can try to steal our turn and be plus again. As always with charge buttons, you are taking a risk. They might DI, they might parry, they might interrupt you. However, you are +2. Perhaps they are more cautious about being too active on defense, and you might get away with it. Okay, so now let's get into what happens when charged heavy punch gets blocked. You're +4, so you can frame trap with standing medium punch. However, I would actually suggest instead to go into back heavy punch. It will trade with jabs and counter, and it will frame trap any other normal. I mean, any normal that is 5 frames or slower. And against jabs, you actually get a really nice combo. How much frame advantage you actually get will be different depending on what normal they used and what character they're playing. But you will always get at least a medium punch target combo from this kind of trade. Another thing you can go into, but I would suggest only going for it in the corner, is command grab. The reason why I suggest only going for it in the corner is they can walk back from it. And of course, this is not true mix-up, because command grab is 13 frames and you're only +4. So if they mash for some reason, you will get stuffed. However, you are +4. If your opponent is mashing in +4 situations, you can just go for frame traps and kill them. And if they're not mashing in these situations, you can go and exploit the respect they're giving you. And if they're walking back, it's actually a very good option from them, because you can't really hit confirm from crouching light kick here. So the best thing you get that is real is crouching medium kick. And if you want to do something more, you can try to call it out with charged sweep. That being said, you can't really punish walk back that much in this situation. Another thing you can do when they block this is just go into another one. Again, you're very plus here, so you want to exploit the fact that they are going to respect you. And by doing something this disrespectful, you're making it more likely that they will mash the next time they block it. Which means that the next time you go for a frame trap, you might hit. Also, you're just stacking drive damage on them by doing this over and over. That being said, you're obviously giving them chance to interrupt this, to DI this, and to perfect parry this. Which, depending on how good your opponent is at doing this sort of thing, you might have to also respect. And there is one thing that you have to consider if you decide to use charge normals on Oki. And that is perfect parry. Perfect parry is going to be very difficult to deal with if you're facing an opponent who is capable of landing it consistently, which at higher ranks will sometimes happen. However, there is one thing you can do against those people. You can do what I call dirty charge normals. You can only partially charge the normal and whiff it, and then throw the perfect parry attempt. Of course, this is risky because you're very negative in their face if they don't parry. So it's very similar to the dirty DI tech that was popular like a year ago or so, or something like that. So I would only suggest it against opponents who are actually reacting with perfect parry to charge normals every time, and they are getting the perfect parry every time. And the problem is, your opponent might realize that perfect parry is not the only way they can react to doing charge normals on Oki. Because it doesn't matter if I do a charge normal or a dirty charge normal. If they're going to wake up with a reversal, I'm actually going to get hit every time. And if your opponent realizes that and has access to that, it might be time to put meaty charge normals to rest. Okay, and now let's get into the most important part of the video, which is how do I use those moves in rematch scenario. Uncharged Heavy Punch is actually quite simple. This is mostly a whiff punish move. It moves you forward quite a bit. It's 12 frames, so it's not the fastest move for whiff punishes, but it is really good for slower moves, for whiff punishing slower moves. As I said earlier in the video, it leads to medium punch target combo on punish counter, so the reward is also pretty good.
Come to fight, then fight.
This is the best move we have for whiff punishing, in my opinion. Unless your opponent is close to the corner, then crouching medium punch might be better. Charged Heavy Punch, however, is, in my opinion, a pretty interesting move in our neutral plan. This is a move that's mostly used for stealing turns. So, for example, let's say I land a drive rush crouching medium kick, but at a range where medium punch will not reach. I can try to get my plus frames by charging Heavy Punch instead of doing anything else. And it will work for any poke, really. You land standing medium kick, you're too far to go to follow up with the jab combo. You can charge Heavy Punch again. You land standing heavy kick, you land forward medium punch. Any hit that you land that doesn't knock your opponent down, that you can't combo out of, you can use to steal a turn with charged Heavy Punch. Or even more general, any situation where you are you have plus frames, you can try to get even more plus frames by charging Heavy Punch. And yes, your opponent can perfect parry, your opponent can DI, your opponent can press a faster button and counter hit you. This will happen, and you have to take note of when your opponent is ready and when your opponent is not ready, and steal your turns at times when your opponent has not showcased that they're ready. Another way of stealing turns would be in situation where your opponent expects you to have a longer block string that you're willing to commit to. So, for example, when doing jab string, people will usually expect 2 or 3 jabs, sometimes cancelled into special. So you can do 1 jab into charged heavy. This is quite easy to react to, but people online often don't. So this is something I would check if your opponent is ready to do or not, and exploit if they're not. The same with target combos. If you go for medium punch, most people expect you to go for medium punch target combo. So you can do medium punch and then charge heavy instead of finishing the target combo. Here I will point out, medium punch target combo is a true block string. So if your opponent knows the matchup, then they will know that they can mash here without taking any risk, because if you're going to finish the target combo, the button will not come out, and if you try to steal your turn, they will stuff you. That being said, most people don't know the matchup enough to know this. And you can also do this with light punch target combo, so instead of finishing it, you can go for this. Of course, the gap is huge, as you can see, but again, you're relying on your opponent not reacting to you doing something that they don't expect to happen. So if you're not being too predictable with it, you can steal a turn here and there with it. This is always a calculated risk that you have to take. Of course, I'm going to say this because if you watch World Warrior UK, you will see that Infectious barely uses charged heavies at all. I don't think I've seen him do any outside of punish combos, honestly. So if you don't like taking this risk, you don't have to. However, I would argue that sometimes you should. So this will be it for the theory. Now I'm going to jump into a replay or two to show you how I'm using those moves in practice. Okay, so now let's watch some replays to show you how to actually use charged heavy punch in actual gameplay.
Gotta do this. Round one.
This is some late night ranked sets, so don't expect the most brilliant neutral. Okay, here I used the fact that my opponent wasn't ready after landing, after the side switch, to charge heavy punch. He might have been thinking that he's plus here, he probably wasn't. So this is one of the things that you have to think about. You have to find the moments of chaos when your opponent might hesitate, and then take your chance. Here I'm going straight into back heavy punch into Gladius, which my opponent blocks. After blocking fully charged Gladius, he's still minus, so I charge heavy punch again. Again I frame trap, and he's in the corner, even though most of the pressure didn't land. I only hit him once in that whole pressure string, he's already in the corner. And again, he blocked the heavy kick. I moved back, he was still in the corner. He was looking for, they were looking for a way to get out of the corner. And again, this time he flinched when I was charging, and that's why he got hit. I spent a lot of drive here. Maybe questionable to go that low on drive for this combo. And here, meaty, back heavy ends the round.
Round two. Fight.
So far, no charged heavy punches here. I don't know if this was a reaction or if he would have woken up with super level 1 here anyways, so this won't dissuade me from going for charged heavies on meaty yet. This time after I use pressure from drive rush heavy punch, he challenges the charged Gladius, something to keep in mind. And here he made a mistake and the round ends. Okay, and here I'll show you a round from a different game. This will show you how powerful heavy punch is as a whiff punish tool.
Round two. Fight.
Here at the beginning of the round, a small walk back makes his scissors whiff. We punish with standing heavy punch. We get some nice damage. We do some pressure. No big hits here. Our opponent has shown us he's really going to press a lot of buttons, and he is not that afraid of whiffing, which is maybe fair, because I have not whiff punished him this round as many times as I should have so far, but... Okay, chat room. What do you think will happen now? This is how fast the tide of the game can change if you're ready to fully capitalize out of standing heavy punch with punish. This was a 2-hit round from me.
Marisa wins.
And here is an example of how to utilize Heavy Punch on someone a little bit higher ranked. Phenom, obviously EVO top 4 this year, a known player. Okay, and this is a trick that you may want to remember. If you vary the strength of Gladius that you use in neutral, if you get them used to looking out for Heavy Punch Gladius, you might actually be able to bait them by throwing out intentionally whiffing Light Punch Gladius, so that you can whiff punish their whiff punish attempt. Usually you get combo here. I actually did not land the combo. There is a 1 frame gap, misinput. Luckily for us, Phenom was smashing. This is a little trick. You bait them to parry and with the charge normal on the safe jump just to throw the parry. And here we get a whiff punish on the crouching medium kick.
Round 2. Fight.
This is another example. We landed a jump heavy. By landed I mean they blocked it. We have plus frames, they're not likely to mash. I charge a heavy punch and then capitalize with micro walk throw. And here the round gets out of my control a little bit. This time it's Phenom with punishing me. And I crumble on the defense in the corner. You actually can get a better combo here. You can go into back heavy punch if you want to. This is of course a risk, depending on which follow-up on the Tiger Jinrai he chooses. This might get you killed, or you might get to steal your opponent's turn. So it was a rather risky call by me, but it worked out. Okay, and here I play against... I run into Phenom on ranked quite often, and I noticed that he's one of the few players who actually bothered to lab perfect parrying charged heavies. And I know that if he wants to go for it, he will get it every single time. So what I do, charge the heavy kick partially here, with it, he whiffs the parry, and I throw the parry. And not only does it get you benefits of landing a punish counter throw, it also makes them reconsider perfect parrying charged heavies in the future. So it's important, if you notice your opponent is doing this, to land this as early as possible to establish this kind of mind game. Here I end the set with... No, it was game 2 of a set. I won this set for the record. It was 2-1 in my favor. But I end the game with Gladius into Super. It was risky because if he was ready to cancel his poke into Super himself, I would be the one dead here. So also keep that in mind. Okay, and this will be the last game we take a look at. There's nothing to look for in the first game. I got perfected. Don't look at that part. And here I use Drive Rush to make it so that the heavy punch target combo is actually uninterruptible. And I do a frame trap with crouching medium punch. My opponent gets hit. So sometimes going for the heavy punch target combo is fine, especially if you do it in a way that is actually safe. That being said, it has a lot of knockback, so the mix you get from it is pretty mild, so I would recommend it only against opponents who either you suspect don't fully know the frame data or are just willing to contest your plus frames. Which, of course, I think Pulga is, if anything, the latter, not the former. I would expect a player of Pulga's caliber to know the frame data. Here I finished the round with a cheeky Scutum, something that is I feel worth looking into. If your opponent is very low on HP, you can do. If your opponent is low HP, you can look to just try to counter poke with Scutum. Here, this is something that we also talked about earlier. I land a drive rush crouching medium kick, however, my opponent is too far for me to follow it up with a combo with standing medium punch, so we go for taking our turn with charged heavy punch. And I think Pulga was jumping here, I'm guessing. Well, we don't have to guess, right? Give me a second. No, he just let go of block. Huh. Interesting. Not the most optimal combo here, but it does the job.
Now you know history.
And here we do 2 charged heavies in a row. Pulga realizes he's pretty low on drive, so gets ready to parry whatever button comes next. We instead go for punish counter throw, and that's the end of the game.
Marisa wins!
And that would be it for the first episode of Marisa's Toolbox. If you want to see more heavy punches landed by me, I invite you to visit my stream. I don't have a schedule set up yet, so you would have to give me a follow and find me when I'm online. But I'm working on making my streams a little bit more regular, so more people can watch. And for now, thank you for watching, and feel free to tell me in the comments what move would you like me to go into detail with for the next episode. Thank you.